Hey triathlon fans, Ryan here at PACE and we're doing some quick little tips and we're going to talk about how to handle choppy waters in your swims. More often than not, it's going to be during race day because a lot of us are kind of regulated to a pool and swimming indoors for our training. So quick little few tips on how to handle, maybe it's windy out there, maybe there's some white waters, maybe there's a current, maybe the water's just high and the flow's high if you're in a river or something like that. So ways that you can deal with a choppy swim. So in training, use paddles, fins, buoys, and drills in practice. This helps build muscular endurance just to be able to get past those waves and have to spend a little bit extra energy when you're out in open water that you maybe don't have to spend in the pool if you didn't have the other pool toys to make it a little bit more difficult while you're practicing. So keep that in mind. Practice sighting. I love having my athletes do, and I do it too, the Tarzan drill. So when you're actually swimming with your head above water to see where you're going and then you're breathing. So what I like people to do is find a sighting position that works, that they can keep doing their swim stroke. They look up, and it's just part of your swim stroke. You're breathing, you look up. And I recommend every 4 to 5 strokes you're sighting for buoys. Just because if you go more than that, especially if there's a current, you're going to get off course, and you're going to spend a lot of time trying to get back on course, more than you would lose just by sighting more often. And I hate to see people out there doing sighting where you're actually stopping and doing kind of a breaststroke or a dog paddle or something like that to find out where you're going. So make sure you practice your sighting in the pool, and if you can get to open water, make sure you practice it there. Practice high arm recovery. So when you got waves coming in and you got rollers and stuff like that and white caps coming in, if you got a low arm, it's going to come in here and you're going to hit the water and it's just going to be like putting the brakes on. So make sure you really can practice that, and you can really turn it on if you need it. You don't need to do your swim stroke like that all the time, but make sure that you are prepared when you're coming over. Like if you have to get those arms really high to get it over the waves, that's what you got to do to make sure you get through it. So practice high arm recovery. Bilateral breathing. I like to have all my athletes be able to breathe on both sides. One side may be better than the other, but when you're swimming and the waves are coming in on your right and that's the only side you can breathe out of, you're going to end up taking in a lot of water and perhaps having a DNF just because you can't catch your breath and it gets exhausting. So make sure that you can swim to both sides and get a breath. And especially helpful if maybe the sun's on one side and you need to breathe to the other side, so you're not always looking in the sun and getting blinded when you're doing your swim. So make sure you can breathe out of both sides. That helps you out. You may have to up your stroke rate. So you're swimming along and you're fighting the current, you're fighting the wind, you're fighting something and rollers or something like that. You may have to, put a little bit more of a, not exactly force, but you may have to do a quicker turnover. So make sure you're practicing that in the pool to where you can turn that on and off. Maybe on 25s, you go down and halfway through, you up your stroke count, and then you come back and you do an easy stroke, and then halfway through, you up your stroke count. So make sure you can work on changing your stroke count. It also helps you get past maybe a group of slower swimmers if you're kind of bottled up. Just upping that stroke count a little bit, get you just that little bit more speed so you can get by them and get to open water. So work on your stroke rate. Mentally be okay. You may have a slower time. When you get to the race day and it's windy, it's raining, there's waves coming in if it's an ocean swim, and everything else is perfect. Just be okay with the fact it's like, well, this may not be my fastest swim. So just get prepared to do the best you can out there in the conditions, because not every race is going to go out there and just be a PR, perfect, smooth glass water surface every time. So like number 7, no PR, no problem. Just be okay with the fact that you get out there and sometimes it's not going to be the best day to set your PRs out there. And that's just the way triathlon is, because you're doing it outdoors and you can't always control the water. Be ready for more than usual energy depletion. So if you're fighting waves, if you're up in your stroke count, if you're doing a higher arm recovery, you're going to be more tired when it comes to the end of that swim. So just be ready for that when you come to the end, come out of the water. You may need some extra calories, you may need some extra hydration you typically may not need when you're coming out of the water. Also take that consideration when you hit the bike. You've spent a lot more energy perhaps than you plan to in your 2.4 miles or 1.2 mile swim. So just be ready. There may be a little bit more energy depletion than you're usually used to coming out for a swim workout. How many strokes you can get without taking your breath. So I do like to throw in with my workouts and with my athlete workouts, working up to, can you get to 4 breaths? Can you get to 5, or can you get to 4 strokes? Can you get to 5 strokes, 6 strokes, 7 strokes? I've gotten up to 8 strokes where I don't have to take a breath. And you do it in the pool where it's a controlled environment, so if you need to, you can stop and take a breath. But that also helps, like if you're getting waves in the face and maybe it's a river swim and there's some white caps and stuff going around. So that way you're not really concerned with having to sight as much, but you can really get in that stroke count. You don't have to worry about waves in your face if you can get a higher stroke count. Or If you turn one time, you get a face full of water and you don't get a full breath, can you go a couple more breaths and get some water? Kind of helps with that moment of anxiety. Once you can't get that air when you think you need it, to have in the back of your mind, it's like, well, I can get 7 or 8 strokes before I really need air, so I'll be okay until the next time I get some. So just working with stroke count per breath count kind of helps out too. Be prepared when you will inhale water. You will inhale water. If it is choppy, even if it's not, and you're just in a crowded swim, you will suck up water at some point. I guarantee you there'll be some point where you swim by somebody and you didn't know they're there. They come up for a breath and they smack you or something, and you take in water. Or you're just swimming and you're getting tired and you turn around, you can't get your head all the way up for air, you take in water. You're gonna do it. Just be ready for that. Just be able to know that even if you have to stop, you can swim around and be okay. So just be prepared that with a choppy swim, you'll probably 99% sure you're going to get some water inhalation. So just be ready for that and be okay with that. If you do have a problem, look for aid out there. Look for a kayak. Ironman's putting out little lily pad, floating pads or whatever that you can go over and swim to. You can hang on the buoys if you really need to. So there's plenty of situations and opportunities that you can get aid. There's boats, kayaks, like I said, jet skis. There's a lot of the people out there that are there for your support and your aid. So if you do need to take a break, remember, as long as they're not propelling you forward on the course, you can hang out with them as long as you need to until you need to make the cutoffs. So always look for aid. You're not out there alone. Do know your limits. If you go out there and it's Ironman Florida and it's 4-foot waves coming in off the beach and you're not a very strong swimmer, know your limits. I mean, it might be worth a reconsideration. Is this the safest thing for me to do? If you're not a strong swimmer, the last thing you want to see is someone having to get rescued or even worse. So just make sure you know kind of the limits of your training, and make sure you do the right things in training, so then you can build up that confidence and then build up that ability. So when you get out there in the choppy water, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a little bit more energy you have to spend on that swim. So hopefully this helped you out. If you liked it, give it a like, give me a subscribe, hit the notification button. You're seeing this on YouTube, give it a like on Facebook. Put a comment if there's something else I should add in there. I think somebody had already offered one time, it's like, when you do go swimming and you go training, take down the lane laps if you're swimming in a group, and swim in a group, and just get used to the contact and other people swimming around you. So, that's one that I didn't put on there, but hey, just added it. So if you see anything, if you hear anything like that, or know of anything like that, or any extra comments you want to add, put them in there, put them in the comments, ask questions, always get back to you guys. So with that, hopefully it helped you out, and good luck in the pool out there, and happy race day.